This conference will now be recorded.
Hey, everybody, it's Dr. Doug Smith. It is Wednesday at 1 o'clock, so it is time for our Monday through Thursday 1 o'clock podcast. This is the podcast where you will hear the absolute truth about the science behind the opioid crisis. That's what we're here for. We are the science people. We're here to talk about the science of the opioid crisis. And wow, have we been covering some science? Let's let's just cover again where we are, what we've done, and how today's show fits into that. And let's go all the way back to 1963 to the gun study. Way back in 1963, Gunn did a study with mice where he showed that the adrenal glands were empty after 2 days of opioid withdrawal. He had opioid dependent mice. Back in those days, you couldn't buy laboratory opioid dependent mice. You had to make your own. You had to buy mice, feed them morphine until they were opioid dependent. And then he stopped giving them morphine, let them go into withdrawal, and after a couple of days, sacrificed them. That's what you call it in research, sacrificed. Basically killed them, uh, and harvested their adrenal glands and weighed them and compared them against the adrenal glands of mice that were not opioid dependent, mice that had not gone through a couple of days of withdrawal. So he compared them against normal mice, control. That's what you call it in a research, you call it the control. And what he found was that the adrenal glands of the mice, after a couple of days of withdrawal, they weighed a whole lot less than normal. Okay, they didn't weigh as much. The adrenaline was gone, and that's what we learned from the 1963 gun study. The adrenaline was gone, and it raises the question: where did the adrenaline go? Did the adrenal gland stop making it? Was it secreted into the body? Where did the adrenaline go? And so we jump ahead to 1968 with the Cara Brody, and what Cara Brody did, they just did kind of the same thing, but this time they collected the urine. They created some opioid-dependent mice, let them go into withdrawal, and collected the urine. And lo and behold, the urine was full of the byproducts of adrenaline, the metabolites of adrenaline, the breakdown of adrenaline. And this is taken as very solid scientific evidence that the adrenaline had been secreted by the adrenal glands and into the body. But that's a lot of adrenaline, and that's an abnormal secretion of adrenaline into the body. Now, remember, folks, we're back in the 1960s here, and we're already looking at what's really going on with the opioids. Okay, and again, there's no mention of a brain disease. There's no brain disease model of addiction. This was just good, hard science looking at the facts. And then we jumped ahead to 1990 with Dell, and what Dell did was kind of the same thing, but he got the opioid dependent mice and built a little operating room for them, opened up their belly so he could see what was going on, hooked up some wires to their nerves so he could measure the activity of the nerves. These were opioid dependent mice. So he gave them some Narcan, immediately put them into withdrawal, and as soon as he put the little mice into withdrawal, wha-bam, there's a 400% surge in nerve activity, the nerve controlling the adrenal gland. The adrenal gland sits on top of the kidneys, and it's controlled by the autonomic nervous system. There's two branches to the autonomic nervous system: the sympathetic branch and the parasympathetic branch. And the nerve control on the autonomic nerve just went completely haywire and surged by a 400% in nerve activity. That's just haywire. 400% surge in activity as soon as the little mouse went into withdrawal. Basically, the nerve lost control. Now, Dell was smart. He had a catheter already in the vein, and as soon as the little nerve lost control of the adrenal gland, he drew blood, and lo and behold, there was an immediate 20-fold surge in adrenaline. So he drew blood before and after the Narcan and saw a 20-fold surge in adrenaline. So now we know what happened. We know exactly what happened. The nerve controlling the organ lost control, and if the organ is the adrenal gland and the adrenal gland loses control, all the adrenaline gets secreted into the body. Now that's a really big deal. Okay, that's a huge issue. So here comes Chang 90 days later, replicates the Dell study, and in the world of science, replication, that's the gold standard. That's how you really can begin to trust that the science is real. So Chang basically replicated Dell, but he took it a step further and took the adrenal glands out of the mice and showed that if you surgically ablate, if you surgically remove the adrenal glands, there is no surge in adrenaline, epinephrine. There's no surge in epinephrine. Okay, once again, just proven beyond the shadow of doubt. The adrenaline that was secreted into the body that Dell had seen was indeed coming from the adrenal gland, and it looks like it was coming from the adrenal gland because the nerve controlling the adrenal gland lost control. So Uh, Yesterday we talked about Kind Bomb. Kind Bomb is kind of the same thing, but with humans. Okay, took 11 volunteers from the methadone clinic, put them to sleep with anesthesia, gave them some Narcan, immediately put them in withdrawal, and wha-bam, saw a 30-fold surge in epinephrine. Okay, 30-fold surge in epinephrine. Okay, Dell saw a 20-fold surge in mice. Kind Bomb saw a 30-fold surge in humans. I think that's kind of the same because human adrenals are so much bigger. And so the question for today is, why does this matter? Okay, what's the big adrenaline? I want you to look at the screen in front of you today. Okay, I want you to look at the screen in front of you today. Okay, this was one of the only decent studies we have looking at the toxicity of adrenaline, the poisoning of adrenaline. Okay, adrenaline is a layperson's term. Catecholamine is the medical term. There are three adrenalines, three catecholamines: epinephrine, norepinephrine, and dopamine. And look at the title of today's article. Norepinephrine leads to more cardiopulmonary toxicities than epinephrine by catecholamine overdose in rats. And catecholamine overdose, that's adrenaline overdose. Okay, that's what we're talking about here. We're talking about adrenaline overdose. Okay, and look what the title of this scientific study is saying. Okay, it's poisonous to the heart. Cardiopulmonary toxicities. Okay, it's poisonous to the heart. Okay, and basically adrenaline will give you a heart attack or a stroke. Okay, and so what this study did was give epinephrine toxicity, norepinephrine toxicity, or no toxicity, or both toxicities to the little mice and look to see what happened. And the little mice died. Adrenaline toxicity will kill you, and it will kill you with a heart attack. Okay, and the combination of epinephrine and norepinephrine was by far the most poisonous. Although, in fairness, the study didn't include dopamine. It was just epinephrine and norepinephrine. But some mice they gave salt water to, and those mice didn't have any fatalities. Some mice they only gave epinephrine to, and those mice would die over time. Some mice they gave only norepinephrine to, and those mice would die quicker. But the mice that got the toxicity of both epinephrine and norepinephrine, they died the fastest, and they died the most brutal deaths. They died of pulmonary edema. And what's happening here is very simple. Epinephrine, norepinephrine, the adrenalines, they'll drive the heart until the heart blows up, until it stops, until it fails. They will drive the heart until it fails. Okay, if you're running from the bear in the forest, okay, your adrenaline will drive your heart until your heart fails. Okay, because the bear is going to kill you anyway. Okay, so yes, these can kill you. Yes, adrenaline can kill you. Is there enough adrenaline in your body to kill you? Yes. You lose control of your adrenal gland and it can kill you. Yes. We believe that over 3 million have already died because their adrenal glands killed them. And we see this in the American Heart Association data. Everybody's missed it. I feel like we're the only ones that picked up on it. CDC has missed it, shocker. The FDA's missed it, shocker. But it's over 3 million deaths. And these were not quiet deaths. These were horrendous deaths. Dying from pulmonary edema is basically drowning on land. It's being waterboarded, but for real. So that's what I wanted to get through today, is that this adrenaline toxicity isn't just something sort of serious that could happen to the body. This stuff will kill you. Okay, for those of you who have been in opioid withdrawal and you felt like you were going to die, yeah, for good reason. We believe a whole bunch of people did die. Okay, so we'll hold there for today. We've covered an enormous amount of science, a whole bunch of science. Tomorrow we'll look at the American Heart Association data, and we'll close out this discussion. But look over the past several days, and we've covered an enormous amount of data. Okay, Gunn, Kara Brody, Dell, Chang, Kind Bomb. This study we're looking at here today, we've covered a whole bunch of studies, including the Lou study we went over today. And you're looking at real science. Now you jump over to the dopamine theory of addiction. Yeah, they did a couple of studies, and they showed that when you gave opioids to humans, there was no surge in dopamine. Okay, so you're beginning to compare both the quantity and the quality of the scientific evidence supporting either our view of the world, which is that the poisoning of the genes, the genotoxicity, the damage to the DNA, results in an abnormal opioid receptor that can no longer control the nerves that control the organs. My gosh, we saw it with directly with our own eyes in the Dell study, versus this brain disease model of addiction, and which is just kind of ridiculous. So let's hold here for today. My name is Dr. Doug Smith. Please like and subscribe to us. Post us on your social media. Put us on everybody else's social media, and we will see you guys again tomorrow.